I'm Lauren Strack at the Hard Rock Cafe Chicago, where Mitch Robinson talks with linebacker Napoleon Harris, who originally did not intend on a career in the NFL. Find out which sport he dreamed about on today's Sports City Chicago.
Chicago, I'm Mitch Robinson here at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago. Band called Cats with us once again, guys. Always sounding good. Standing up this week and putting them to work. Joining us today, Napoleon Harris, NFL linebacker, Chicago own. And Napoleon, thanks a lot for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Napoleon, we like to talk and get into it right away and find out when you were a kid what you were like and what was your experience here. Growing up in Chicago first, yeah, big family, and was it always playing outside, do something with athletics, either get on the field and just go tackle somebody, or basketball? What was it for you?
Well, it was basketball for me. I wasn't really big on football growing up. I mean, my father was trying to get me involved in it because, you know, the '85 Bears success, and he was a big-time Bears fan. But me, I was a Michael Jordan fan, so I thought I was going to play in the NBA.
Were you a big kid when you were younger, like elementary, junior high? Were you one of the taller kids or no?
To be honest with you, I was actually a smaller kid, and it just happened over one summer. I remember going through junior high school, and girls was actually taller than me. And I came back after the summer, 7th grade, going into 8th grade. That summer, I left 7th grade being shorter than the girls. And when I came back, I grew like 6 or 7 inches in one summer.
It must have killed your parents. They had to buy all new clothes after that summer.
All new shoes. I went from a size 8 to a 13
in one summer.
Year.
Were you coordinated, or I mean, because usually a guy like that starts tripping all over their own feet.
Now, ironically, I was coordinated. I never pretty much had any clumsiness about me. So it all kind of worked out.
So when you started now, so you're playing basketball, you're a fan of Jordan. At what point, was it in junior high, did you start getting on the teams? How did you end up getting shifted over to take on football?
I was in high school. The head football coach, Coach Bill Moselle, came to me in the lunch period and was like, hey, you're too tall, you're too athletic not to be playing football. I was like, football? I said, man, I play basketball. So we were in lunch. He's like, just come on out. He was like, I guarantee you're gonna like it. So I was like, okay, coach, I'll give it a try. I came out, and at first I hated it. It was like, I didn't understand it. They put me at safety. Starting out, I was at safety. Then one play I played cornerback, and I actually got into a three-point stance at cornerback.
At cornerback?
Everybody was laughing like, what is this guy doing? I had no clue. So, you know, he worked with me, and then I started off, they put me at tight end. So I caught a few balls. He was like, okay. The next year, I played wide receiver. And how I get to play linebacker it was like the second or third game towards the end of the season, an outside linebacker gets hurt. And Coach Moselle says, hey, I need you to go in and play defense. I'm like, dude, I play tight end and wide receiver. I don't know anything about defense. He's like, listen, line up wide and just run and tackle the quarterback. I go in and get 2 sacks. The next week I'm starting at outside linebacker.
That was it. And
that was the junior year.
Junior year.
And then senior year, I worked over the summer at outside linebacker. Then the following year, senior year, I think I had 24 sacks. Set a state record, I think, here in Illinois.
Yeah, and you were among the top 35 nationwide high school players coming out of the country. So with no technique, you step in at linebacker right away, basically thrown on the field. A lot of kids, that would break them. A lot of kids, you know, especially when you get a three-point stance as a cornerback and everyone's laughing and everything, you might say, screw this, and you walk right off. How did you deal with that? How did you mentally stay there and say, you know what, I'm going to make this work?
Well, for me, I've always prided myself on being the very best. And I think that was something that was instilled in me from my mother. I remember coming home, I think it was maybe first grade, second grade, and my mother asked me, she said, who's the smartest person in your class? And at the time, I'm like, it was a girl named Tiana or Tiffany. I was like, she was like, I don't want to ever hear you say that again. She's like, well, next time I ask you who the smartest in your class, you better say you. She's like, if it's not you, if you're not the smartest, then you're not going outside the play. You're going to get in your books and learn how to be the smartest. So that was something that no matter what I did, I always wanted to be the best.
Does Chicago make tough kids, tough athletes?
I definitely think so. I think what makes it tough is the level of competition. I think overall, it's so many gifted athletes. You can go through the whole state of Illinois, and if you want to centralize it, you can go Chicago or the South or the metropolitan area. But there's so many gifted athletes that everyone wants to be the best.
And we know you went to Northwestern. That's who you accepted. How many schools were looking? Do you have an idea? I mean, when you're setting a record, you got to be getting dated by every college out there.
But pretty much every college, I got offered by every single college in the country.
See, and what's that like? How do you, first of all, how do you keep your head on straight? Who's keeping you grounded at home to say, you know what, you're great, you could be great, but you're not all that?
You know what, I remember it, and I wish, like in retrospect now, I wish I could have kept some of the stuff just to show my kid, when I say, Dad was heavily recruited.
I'm not lying.
Right. I remember having garbage bags full of letters from different schools. And I mean, at the time, it was so overwhelming and exciting because I was a huge college football fan. I loved Notre Dame, loved Miami Hurricanes, the U.
Sure.
Loved Michigan. And these are the teams that are recruiting me, that's coming into my home. Like, I have every major coach come to my house. I remember Lloyd Carr vividly sitting in my living room. I remember Joe Paterno.
Joe Pye in your living room.
Joe Pye. Coach Barnett at the time at Northwestern. Eventually, I went to Northwestern. Butch Davis when he was at Miami. But actually, the coach that kind of sticks out the most, he was actually the first coach that called me. And I remember him coming to the high school and telling me, he was like, I'm going to offer you a scholarship, and I'm going to be the first person to call you. He called me at 12 o'clock midnight on the first time. It was John Robinson from USC.
Really?
He came to the school, he showed me his national championship ring. He was like, if you come to USC, you can get you one of these. But then Northwestern had just won back-to-back Big Ten championships, and I was thinking, like, Northwestern is here in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I can go to the home team. We got pretty good academics. It's a great academic school. I get a great education. And then, as well as that, I wanted to be a part. I wanted to add to something instead of just being a part of something.
Do you remember, was there one thing Gary Barnett said to you, or what maybe was the most compelling thing he said to you when he talked to you about coming to play for him, or what you would learn by going to Northwestern?
It was mostly about building relationships for the future and getting a great academic education, as well as winning football games, because I mean, he was about that as well.
When we come back, we'll talk about Northwestern and Napoleon Harris in the NFL. And Napoleon, before we go to break, how quickly can you get to that Tim over there in Sackville?
Probably half a second.
Oh, please don't do that.
Bad call catch. Tim, take it away. Welcome back to Sports City Chicago here at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago. Band called Catch, and Napoleon Harris is with us. And Napoleon, you get to Northwestern. You come in as a freshman. They have no plans to redshirt you, because I would assume, because they need talent like you on that team, right?
Correct.
Do you remember what it was like first time you stepped into the stadium in your uniform with a crowd there?
Yes, actually the first game I ever suited up for was a classic game. We played Oklahoma at Soldier Field.
Oh, wow.
That was my first college game. And I actually redshirted the first year, because when I came on campus, I'm thinking like, okay, I was good in high school, big guy. I really saw how small I was compared to the other linebackers.
So you really had to.
I had to get in the weight room and bulk up, because I was so light, I was getting pushed around.
And Oklahoma's still one of the best programs in the country every year. So you get in there, what are you thinking? What are the thoughts coming into your mind getting out on that field?
I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I'm playing at Soldier Field where the Bears play. The first game, I said, it's just nuts. So it was definitely exciting playing on the field that you always dreamed about playing on. Talk
to us about your progression in college. For you, you had some pretty successful seasons at Northwestern.
For me, I think my first year playing was it was some nervousness. It was just me trying to say, do I belong? Can I compete at this level? Am I good enough to play? And, first couple games, I had great success because I think it was that nervous energy. And then I hit a couple bumps in the middle of the thing where I wasn't playing as well, and then I figured it out. You know, the light switch came on and say, this is what I need to do to be better. I need to use my hands a little bit better at the point of attack. I need to shed the blocker quicker.
All right, let's see if you know your stats. I ask these guys all the time. Best season at Northwestern, and talk to me about your proudest accomplishment as a football player there.
My best season was probably the 2000 season. Won a Big Ten championship. Had a gang of tackles, 3 or 4 interceptions, a lot of tackles for loss. Had a great season. I don't know the exact stat verbatim, but it was a pretty good season by I think anybody's accounts. My biggest accomplishment was probably winning the Big Ten championship. I mean, that's going to always be with me. Got the ring. Can't nobody ever take it away from me. So that was probably my proudest accomplishment. But biggest moment in playing, I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of them.
You had some big, you had a lot of games.
I had a couple big hits, a couple big plays made at just the right time, so to speak.
What was draft day? What was your experience? Where were you slotted? Was it one of these where Kuiper's saying, "Oh, he's a top 10," and you slid down, or did you have a sense that you were going to go? Oakland was one of these teams that really was hot for you.
Well, going into it, everybody said Oakland, and so I thought it would probably be Oakland, but I just didn't know. What so happened? One of my friends, Harold Black, when Dallas was picking like 8th or 7th when they was picking Roy Williams. The phone rings. I'm looking like, Dallas is picking me up. I answered, I forget, I think my brother or something answered the phone. It was my friend Harold Blackman, who played cornerback with me at Northwestern. I'm like, dude, do not call my phone while the drive is on. Everybody's in there laughing, the camera's rolling. They thinking this is Dallas. They thought
you were getting the call.
They thought I was getting the call for Dallas. So we sitting there, we wait a little longer, and Oakland picks me.
So the silver and black, they, reputation, I mean, is everything with them. They're fierce, they're battlers through the ages. They're a team that's dirty and stuff. You get out there, it's an intimidating uniform.
I was actually blessed to go out there because I was, surrounded by such great talent.
And you guys, you get playoffs and Super Bowl all in the first year.
First year, get a trip to. And it's ironic. It was actually funny. I remember when I first get to Oakland, and I'm talking with Al Davis, and I tell him, I said, I always called him AD. I called him AD. I said, you know what, AD? I said, I'm going to take you to the Super Bowl. So he's like, okay, Napoleon. He said, I'm going to hold you to that. So we go to the Super Bowl, and I remember we lost. We ended up losing to Tampa. And I remember after that, on the plane ride home, I'm sitting on the plane. I'm mad because we lost the Super Bowl. He come back there. He said, well, you did say you was going to take me to the Super Bowl. And then he walked back. I said, well, I didn't tell you I was going to win it.
So what's it like as a rookie? You go to the Super Bowl. I mean, this is the problem that I see from that is that you think it's going to happen every year now. And seasons go by and it may never happen again.
And that was me. I was thinking, okay, we lost. We'll be back next year. Next year, we didn't even make the playoffs. Injuries happen. Trades happen. Free agency happens. And this other teams improve. And, the games that you were winning by those small margins, now you're losing by those same small margins. So, it was definitely a wake-up call and experience to say, cherish the moment, because you never know when it's going to be given back to you.
And one of the other notes that people probably don't realize after you played a couple seasons in Oakland, you're part of one of the biggest trades in NFL history. Randy Moss from Minnesota goes to Oakland. You get shipped over to Minnesota. Take us through that. Did you have any idea that you were going to be included in this deal?
Had no idea it was coming. I was kind of blindsided by it because, to be honest, I liked Oakland, wanted to stay in Oakland, and wanted to be a part of the quote-unquote resurgence after going to the Super Bowl, then losing for 2 years. I wanted to be a part of bringing it back to show that, as they say, the rate of pride.
So it was 8 total years, 9 years? Eight total years in the league. You've been 2009 was the last time you played in the league. For you, as we go towards in the next segment to talk about what's up in the future and what you're doing now, what's it like for such a young guy? And I know you told me today, you're still training. You have not put this behind you because you could still play. How do you deal with it every day since then?
Well, I think you got to stay busy, number one. I mean, realistically, I know I've played good football in the past, and I know I'm capable physically to go out and do it again if I had to. Do I want to play? Yes. If a team called me and said, come in, I'm more than willing to come in. I'm in shape. I come in and help a team
got
win
fresh
a football
legs.
game. That's another key plus. I think the years of not playing has helped my body rejuvenate and recover from the injuries and, you know, just the wear and tear of just playing football, the stress of just running around every day. So fresh legs is definitely a plus. But right now I'm just, you know, going on with the next phase if football doesn't come back around for me, because I'm a realist. I've been out the game for 2 years now. It's tough to come back or teams give you an opportunity. I think most guys just need an opportunity. If the opportunity is given, I gladly accept it. But if not, I'm more than willing to walk away, hang my head on my career that I've had, and go on with the next chapter of my life.
Well, that's an important thing you say, walk away, which a lot of guys don't get that choice at the end there because they're in so much pain for the rest of their lives. Napoleon Harris is here with us on Sports Day Chicago. When we come back, we're going to talk about that next phase right now, what he's been doing to keep himself busy, and then, of course, we have our 5 questions. Band called Catch. We're at Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago.
Everybody's got to have a favorite song. Baby, we can sing all night long.
Welcome back to Sports Day Chicago here at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago. Band called Catch is with us, and Napoleon Harris. And Napoleon, so you've been out of football for a little bit, but you haven't sat around. You did a little acting. I know you had an appearance on the CW. What was your role in that?
I played a guy named Todd on The Game, his series, The Game, and I was actually hooking up with Tasha Mack. She was hooking me up with a girl who was actually trying to help me. She was a lawyer, and she was trying to help me get my son back, and I ended up hooking up with her. It was just a little small scene. But
something happens everyday life.
Something that happens every day in life.
So you've gotten involved in being an entrepreneur and your own franchises, Beggar's Pizza. First of all, how'd you come about Beggar's, and also the area? Your first one is in Harvey, and for you to put it there, it really shows how much you're trying to rejuvenate that area, which speaks volumes about what you want to do for your community.
Well, first it got started because I grew up on Beggar's Pizza from being younger. And every time I came home, whether it was from Oakland, Kansas City, or Minnesota, I was stopping off at Beggar's before I hit home. So I told my brother, I said, go into the store and see, are they franchising? Or if I could just buy one of the locations. Because I said, I'm spending so much money here every time I come home, I need to just own the place so I could just eat that for free. So he did a little research. The guy, Ray Cantello, ended up calling me back and was saying, yeah, we just started the franchise. You know, you'll be one of our first guys to do it. I was like, well, I have a location, I think. He was like, where? I was like, in Harvey. I said, I'm going to put it in the area where I'm from, right around close to my high school, and it's going to create, number one, I wanted to create jobs in the community that desperately needed them. And number two, I wanted to put an establishment there where people can come sit down with their families and eat a meal. Because, I mean, from where I was from, we didn't have any sit-down dine-in places. Everything was kind of like fast food places. You had to go outside the community to really get something to eat. So it was a twofold thing of why I did it, and it is working out pretty good. What
has been the feedback from the community? Because it is, you know, I've been there. Nick Roach of the Bears and I came down and made pizza with you. It is a place. It's a safe place where people can bring their family. You can hang out. Guys shoot the fun all day with you guys. You have stories to tell them, just like you're telling here. Is that really what you envision for this area?
It is. You know, it's actually great. You know, it's great. You know, whenever I do go there, I walk out. You know, just greet a customer, say, hey, how you doing? And you got kids like, Mom, that's Napoleon Harris. He played football. He's from this area. He come back. So it's definitely fulfilling in that aspect. But it's also fulfilling in the fact that people can actually come in, get a good meal with their families, watch sports. It's a pool table in there as well, some dart games. And guys can come there, just hang out, talk the breeze, talk sports. And they get a chance to kind of battle me with sports, trivia and stuff like that. Who you think going to win this game? What do you think about this player? And you know, it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere to be around, especially on Sundays.
What did you learn, or have you learned from running a business that you could also equate to maybe that you learned through being in the business of football? Is there any similarities at all?
What's funny is that my business model for my business is kind of ran like football. The operations, the day-to-day operations, like in Minnesota, whatever team I played for, it was a time thing. Everyone was punctual. It's about being on time. And the things where they always say, do your job. Defensive line, you need to hold up the line. The linebackers need to fill gaps. The secondary need to cover receivers. That's no different than the pizza business. The cooks need to make the pizza on time. The servers and the wait staff need to make sure they're putting the orders in right, so when the tickets come back, the cooks are making it right, and the cashiers need to cash out the right change. And so it's about a team concept, and that's what I preach at Beggars. Everyone works together for the team goal, and I think if everyone reaches the team goal, the customer gets satisfaction. They're going to be repeat customers. The business does well, and then more jobs are created, and it's one big happy revolving door.
He's Napoleon Harris. Stay with us when we come back. We've got the 5 questions. It's Sports City Chicago from the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago with a band called Catch as well. Welcome back to Sports City Chicago here with Napoleon Harris. Time for our 5 questions. Napoleon, I throw these at you. Give me whatever comes to mind off the top of your head, okay? Best hangout spot in Evanston?
That's tough. But for me, when I was there, was Burger King. But it's probably, I would say, Bar Louie.
Bar Louie's. Okay, you run your pizza companies, you say, like an NFL organization. Which head coach are you most like? Are you Landry, Parcells, or somebody else?
I'm probably more like Lovie Smith.
Really?
Laid back, good communicator, but gets it done.
Greatest athlete to come out of Thornton High School other than you or Antoine Randall?
Probably Ty Streets.
Ty Streets. Best piece of advice you've ever gotten and that you still adhere to this day?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Can you say it 5 times fast?
I probably can't. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
I'll take 2's good. And last is a 3-parter for you, real general public for everyone, for general knowledge. Favorite movie, book, and music?
Favorite book is probably, let me see, what's my favorite book? I don't know, I have a couple of them that I like. I read the biography of Malcolm X. That was a pretty good one. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Good one.
Was another one. Those probably my top 1 and 2.
Okay.
Not in particular. Favorite movie, probably Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Love that movie.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Coming to America. So probably my 2 favorite movies. The music, I listen to all types of music, you know, from Latin, neo-soul, gospel, R&B, hip-hop, you name it. I got a wide variety of music, so I don't have a quote-unquote favorite music, but I listen to pretty much everything.
And now you got a band called Catch.
Now I got a band called Catch. We're pretty good.
Thanks a lot, Napoleon. It's been great to have you here. He's Napoleon Harris. It is Sports City Chicago. Band called Catch is here today. We're at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago. We'll see you again real soon. Take it away, guys.
'Cause I don't wanna see you falling for another woman. But you say you love so dear, I want you all for myself, even though it isn't fair. I don't wanna see you falling for another woman. It's a day I cannot share. I want you all for myself, even though it isn't fair.